Hello. Happy to be here today. Looking forward to letting this channel come through to educate us and give us information. Goodness. I've been like kind of hanging out and troll scrolling, scrolling uh, many different social platforms. And it's very interesting to me to see how they feed us, because they do, they feed us. And I have like different accounts, and I like different things, and I'm seeing the diversity and how they target market and behavioral feed each of those accounts. And I'm just in awe that we as a people are experiencing this, right? So, the downtime that we have in the evenings, right? When we're trying to relax, right? We're trying to let go of the day. We're trying to let go of everything that's on our mind so that we're defocusing from the external and beginning to pull our energy back to ourselves, right? A lot of people are probably tired right now. That has to do with many things, many, many things. One of the things, right, is planetary placement and the transits that are happening right now. That's one of the things that could be affecting you. All right. So we're going to go over that a little bit. By the way, happy Libra season. It's been upon us for a minute. So welcome to balance and enormity. Because we are in our north node is Aries right now. So we are learning the I am down to I am nothing. Okay. And in that, we are discarding all of those uh, pieces of armor that we've placed in front of ourselves to prevent us from feeling, from connecting, from understanding that we're part of the collective. And in that energy, we're becoming who we're choosing. So giving ourselves a little bit of credit goes a long way. So today is the last day of September. September is one of my favorite months. And today it's 936 if you look at it. So we're using 3 6s and 9s, 3 6s and 9s to be able to navigate our life today. And in that aspect, right, it's a pattern. And you could tell like if the pattern is a little disjointed, right? It's not sequential like we're used to. So it's starting in a very familiar space, this energy today. All right. It's starting in this, hey man, haven't you gotten over this? Isn't this like, aren't you done? Like you're at the pinnacle of where, the next evolution of you comes. Aren't you ready to let go of like what it was that was bothering you? And that's the big question today. September is a transformation month. It always is. It's always a transformation month, very representative in autumn, changing of the leaves and the colors and the dynamic of going from the vibrant, beautiful greens into the honey-colored yellows and oranges and browns and all of the autumn fall colors, right? And those colors are very representational of our chakras. They align with our chakras. So right now you may be feeling a lot of sacral energy, a lot of creation energy. With Mars stationed in Cancer, you're naturally going to be in your sacral area because that's where your water is housed. That's your creation energy. That's like how you make your life. That's like where you create the story of who you are. It's how you flow. It's how you connect to the collective flow. It's the understanding that you have that nothing is owned and everything is used. All right. It's used to maneuver, to manipulate, to shift. Okay. So falling into a state of being makes it easier. That's why people say, oh, you should meditate. Meditation is the practice of life, sitting down by yourself in that recognition. That's what meditation is for me. When I sit in the energy of my meditation, I'm in the energy of who I think I am. And then if I sit still long enough, I begin to sit in the energy of who I feel I am. And now I'm connected to all of that beautiful energy that I'm using for my experience. All that spirit, all that metal, all the air, right? All of the consciousness collective that I am a part of and in representation of. When I come into that recognition of how great the scale is, right, of who we are, and not in comparative, but in collective energy, to where, like, if I hold my hand out, we're together. Simply because I extended a thought or an emotion to you. Understanding that the bridge is us, through our intentions, through our thoughts, through the many aspects of how we consider ourselves connected to one another. It's time for me to begin really speaking some of my understandings into the collective. And I've been ruminating for a long time, as are we all. So currently, we're about a year and 9 months into Saturn's visit to Pisces. All right. Neptune's been holding space in their own house, allowing Saturn to come in and redecorate and decide what needs to stay and what needs to go. And this is affecting our subconscious. That's the representation of Neptune. Neptune is like our subconscious, the deep, dark dive, right? Of all things possible, of all things capable. That allows us an understanding, okay? Still, it feels actionable, right? It's actionable and it's very watery, so it's naturally going to be very connective. All of our representations of water connect, all right? And they're a sustainable source to us. That's how we have our physical life is the water, right? So when Saturn, who is considered the archetypal planet of the divine masculine, of structure and construct, when Saturn comes in, Saturn is bound by rings, all right? And those rings are etheric. They're gas, so they're metal, spirit, air, right? So they're gaseous. So they're ever changing, ever shifting, ever moving, even though the planet itself is substantial and carries a great weight of magnetism to move in a certain direction with a certain ethic. Those ethics are based in our conditioning and our practices of right now. Whatever our practices are right now, that's what's being called into question, because the layers and layers and layers of Saturn, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune are really just being pulled apart, all right? And allowing us to see at a deeper level what our true beliefs are in our alignment. A lot of times it might feel like you can't go anywhere because it's so overwhelming. So anywhere that you go, like anytime you're external in any kind of thing, right? It may feel overwhelming. And then you'll allow yourself to align to that understanding. And then it won't feel like change, it won't feel like resistance. And it's because you're going into acceptance of bits and pieces of it that align with you. And then you're pulling in the full experience, so that way when you're ready, you could step into it. It's always going to present with duality, to where you have a side that feels negative and a side that feels positive. It doesn't make it that way. That's just the alignment that you're in, depending on the story that you're creating. So today is one of those big energy days, a really big energy day. It has a lot of finality to it. It is one where you could even picture yourself standing in your yard with your hose and washing your hands, right? Freeing yourself from what was. And then asking yourself, what would I like? What would I like to experience? Pull yourself into that vibration of possibility, into that, into that happy space that you create for yourself. And then ask yourself what you would like to experience next, and life will get a little easier. So these transits, because Moon right now is moving into Virgo, okay? So it's going to be another muddy day, not a bad muddy day, but it'll be slightly muddy, but it is like a fire, air, and earth day. And that is fire, air, earth, and water. It's all four elements today. It always is. And they're like a lot of people talking. So what I mean by that is that the focus is where Mars is in Cancer. So Mars' archetypal behavior is our spiritual warrior aspect. That's who Mars represents to us. And as we transit through Cancer, it's a build of degrees. So you may start at 0 and move to 29. And yet each evolution, each movement is still based on the ruling planet of that particular house. That particular house of Cancer is ruled by the moon. So the moon is our spiritual nature. So our spiritual warrior is lighting a fire underneath the water, creating new belief systems at such a rapid rate that every 2 days they seem to change and nuance, change and nuance, change and nuance, refining, 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 refining what it is that we believe and how we wish to be connected. When we sit still and we allow those connections that nurture and cultivate who we are naturally, like our most authentic selves, like I really believe that we are kind. I really believe that we have love. I really believe that those connections are easy to find, and they've just been buried in fear. And that fear is coming to light. So that beautiful Mars going up from 0 to 29 degrees through Cancer, changing your perspective every single day, right? About midday, every day, right? It's okay. You're learning. You're learning how to move with the energy. That's how the world is coming right now. There's enough people who want change, that are asking for change, and the collective consciousness is ready. It's ready for a beautiful change or a horrible change. We are at that crux, the center of the cross, the center of everything. We're at that intersection where we're at two roads and they're diverging into a wood. And Robert Frost is asking us to take the one less traveled by, right? Because it will make all the difference. What does that road look like to you? When you step out of the norm, out of social conditioning, out of what socially is acceptable on social media that's trying to control our behaviors or create our behaviors depending on what it is that we have interest in for just a split second. That's how fast the internet is. That's how fast these behavioral programs are. And those think tanks that they spend hours and hours and hours figuring out how it is that we think, why we think that way, and how they can get our money by the way that we think. So that way it feeds the vacuum. And money doesn't belong to us. So just understanding, right, that what they want is they want for us to stay in place. So creating different distractions like we're children, right? Like you would a 2-year-old. Here's a yellow block. Here's a red block. If you put these two blocks together, a lot of distraction, trying to teach us to stay still for them. But that's external still. That's outside of us. That's not internal. So our stillness inside is all tumultuous. And it's like, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? And we're looking for these distractions now because we're overwhelmed with the amount of information that's fed to us. So again, meditation is a practice of life in a smaller, more condensed experience. Life is showing up to an experience and not knowing how you're going to show up until the experience begins. And when the experience begins, however you are, whatever vibration you're at, whatever story you're in, that's how it begins. So let's say you meet a guy or a girl or them. You meet them, all right? And you're just so like, oh my gosh, this is the person. This is like my completeness. This is this. And you assign the role of savior to this individual. When you start out in that particular energy, you're never going to be enough. You've placed your power and authority externally and given it to somebody else. And until they show up, you can't empower yourself. And you'll never feel like you are enough or worthy. And that's what keeps us separated from the loves of our life, is that we think that that is what will complete us. And until we complete us, that will not be available. How we complete us is that we work through our inner understandings. Things that we've been taught all our lives, like a prince charming or princess will show up in our life and save us from whatever the life is that we're in. And that isn't a truth. We're the ones who make the change. We're the ones who save ourselves, right? We're provided opportunity when we're connected. When we are connected to source, when we're connected to life, when we're really connected, it provides us everything. It gives us all these situations and solutions right there handy. And we just got to tune in to who we are, what we really want, how we would like to experience it. Not how to do it, not how to get it. Those are lackful thoughts. How to be it. And being it is that connective, collective consciousness to your physical mind, body, spirit. And it takes meditation. Meditation is merely a focus on that which you want. Like you could focus on the mountains because the mountains bring you peace. You could focus on standing on a cliff, looking over a beautiful ocean where the waves are gently crashing and lapping at the bottom on the shore, and the breeze is gentle and warm coming up, and you have this sense of ease and comfort and relaxation. And you could go into happy, you could go into joy, you could go into appreciation, and allowing yourself, because it's your mind that's going to set things for you. It's your mindset, right? Your mastery is important of this aspect. That is how you have your experience. If you can allow yourself to stand at the edge of a cliff, and in your visualization, create that which you would like to experience, be it through a feeling or a thought. The connection between the feeling and thought will be the most powerful moment in your life. And that's what you'll draw. The story you tell can be of limitation, and usually if it is because you think the effort is required in order for you to receive. We have inspired action that takes us through different aspects of who we are, and we clear those blockages of old stories that tell us that we're unworthy, that we don't deserve this, or the obvious evidence that we don't have it right now. When we are in those situations with our mind has so many concepts and perceptions, we can introduce another one that will shatter the ones that we know to be true. Do that. Shatter your mind. Shatter your mind. Add perspective. Add perception. When you're looking at something through a lens, the lens is very narrow. And you could see clearly that the lens is only right here. And there's all of this that's being ignored, discarded. This is the only thing that I am seeing is through this lens. You can see the amount of limitation right there. We may call it manageability. We may call it a lot of things. A lot of stuff, some people call it like narrow-mindedness, right? And it's because we're not giving ourselves the benefit of doubt that we could have more. We could have the experience that we would really like. The peace, the harmony, the love, the authenticity, the co-creation with people who are like-minded, the ideation that can just come in and give us what it is that we're asking for. Through inspired action, when we're listening and our solar plexus are clear and we're really in touch with our ego, and our ego is like, hey, today I think that like I need a little support because I'm feeling like I'm not enough. That's your ego telling you that you need to do some work, that you need to do some work to shore that up, to give you that love that you're asking for. You're the only one that can, because until you do, you won't be able to receive what somebody else tries to give you. You have to determine what love feels like to you because it's a vibration, not what it means to you. Not what it means to you. Love means many things. Means is an attachment. The vibration that you're asking for, really dial into it. What does love represent to you? Right? Like, what kind of love are you in? Right? Are you in love romantically with yourself? Are you the best catch on the block? Are you super happy with yourself to be to the point where you feel like you're enough, and not in dissatisfaction that your partner hasn't shown up, right? That you're in satisfaction because your partner has shown the fuck up. Really that sink in. That's so important. The relationship that is going to guide you all your life is the one that you have with yourself. God may step in and save you from yourself occasionally. And you'll know that, of course. Yet who took you to that position in the first place? You did. You did. Clearly, you did. We can believe what other people say, but internally, what are we saying? What are we really believing? How are we really feeling? What is that? What's this? And am I okay with it? Can I decide and give myself permission to feel the things that I've pulled in so that I can have a full experience of who I am in this moment, in this manifestation? Asking these questions, giving yourself permission, these are great words. But you can see that really what it is moving yourself into a state of being. The state of being allows you to relax into the energy. We're going to do a little energy right now. If you're driving, you may feel slightly relaxed, but you'll be very sharp. If you're operating any heavy machinery, same premise. You will not be directly affected. So the energy is the connection. It's the understanding and the knowing. The understanding and the knowing that you and I are one. Sit into that. Sit into that energy. The energy of enough, abundance, co-creation, glitter, right? It's a great energy. You get to choose. How do you want to show up? See, we have tasks around us. We call it work. We call it work. We call it career. We call it lots of things. But those are tasks. The physical aspects, to have the thoughts and feelings to land into the physical. Those are tasks. The thought and feeling is our spirituality. So we're constantly looking for ways to practice what we think and feel. Constantly looking for ways to practice our spirituality, our belief systems. Our belief systems are very simple. They are, I am here and I want to be there. I am here and I want to be there. I have conquered where I'm at. I have conquered where I'm at, and I'm ready to let go of it and move into this new state of being. That sounds really easy, doesn't it? The whole time I'm sensing this, right? That, well, if I could do that, I would. Of course you could. Of course you would. But you're not. I'm not going to ask you why. Just, I'm letting you know it's present and a choice. It's always a choice. When something's presented, you have two sides that you can look at to be able to manifest that feeling or thought. You can manifest that feeling or thought, or both, in a connection to have a nice vibe, or to have a detrimental vibe, something that's in adversity or adversarial or in contrast. Or you can go ahead and have it be beneficial, right? Something that's going to rock the world and help you out. And what kind of thoughts would you need for that? To be able to have a great day? What do you think you need? Like, what would be an optimal day for you? Let's lay it out. What does that look like? See, this is a meditation right now. We're focused right now. We're focused on what we want to choose. And we're in that observation. So we're saying, well, I would like more of this and I would like less of this. So that means you're segueing away from that which you really don't want to experience anymore. And you're beginning to go ahead and focus into the direction, all right, we'll call it direction, or into the energy, information of where you want to be. And it may feel like a pulling or a closing of a circle. There is a completion to it. There is a finite point that you have created to let you know that it's time to segue from that focus into another focus. It could be so fucking painful. And you go, oh, I'm done beating myself up. Let me move over here and put the stick down. You're perfect. You're perfect in every way, shape, form, everything. Perfect. You're not a work in progress. You're a progressive work. You're a piece of art. You are art. You are creation. You are enough. You've proven it to yourself over and over and over again, because here you are, yet again, being you. And that's okay. The energies of the world are going to become more intense. More people are lining up and asking consciousness for guidance. And in case you haven't noticed, consciousness is beginning to answer more readily. It's becoming ever present. It is surrounding us and becoming known. Those of us who practice in this way are in ascension, so to speak. That is the ability to release that which holds you back from who you're meant to authentically become each moment of every breath that you take. We are enough. Understand that the world is going to keep changing. It's going to choose revolution or reform. I'm on the side of revolution. Evolution, revolution. That's what I would like to see take place. I would love to see a world where skin color doesn't matter, but your heart would. Where's your heart? So through this desire of mine, I will create in that evolution, revolution flow that which I desire, that gratitude, that joy, that appreciation. And I will continue to focus that way, even though the other side would like for me to be pulled into that flow and lend my energy awareness there. I'm not going to do that. I will recognize the strife. I will recognize the pain. I will continue to separate and sort my energetic connection to the detriment that I see. I will do it through word and deed. I will stop, I will boycott, I will do many things physically so that I am doing what's aligned to my choices, not because I'm of an opinion and I think you should. I am single, individual, autonomous, just like you, having a fucking experience. I would love for the world to kumbaya. Oh my gosh, how does that feel? That would be magnificent to me. I think that there's so many different things that we could really allow ourselves to enjoy simply by moving into that state of being and allowance. What are your choices? What choices are you making that are taking you down that road that's diverging in the wood? Evolution, revolution, reform, conform. Where are you? Are you looking for the easy way because you think somebody else, something external, is going to solve your internal emotion and thought? Until you become the authority, you will not feel heard or seen, and all of your emotions and thoughts will not feel honored and sacred as they really are. giving yourself a voice to yourself, letting yourself become the authority in your experience. That's empowering. Making choices to support who you are. Incremental, small choices. Buying 1-ply toilet paper instead of 2-ply toilet paper. Simple shit. Thank you, Spirit. That's how it is in my head all the time. That's just how it is in my head. It's really pretty interesting. Okay, so we started this and we had talked about the archetypes of the planets, how Saturn is asking in our collective consciousness, in our subconscious, the part that we don't necessarily want to look at, what we can do to change. What can we do to change? Because Saturn's a planet of action. So it's asking for tasks from our deepest shadows. Like, what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about that? What about that there in the corner that you're not looking at? What about that right there that seems to be holding you back from what you're saying you want? Why do you have that story? Where did that story come from? Does it still belong to you in that way? The experience will always be yours. It will always be yours. And no one can take that from you. No one can take the trauma from you. No one can release any of that charge but you. You can have people outside and external help you by holding space while you process. But you will process. And right now we are deep diving in a process. Pluto is making sure of it. Pluto is still with Capricorn. Pluto is, the archetype of Pluto is very warrior, whether you believe that or not, as if coming back from a place that's so deep, it requires understanding. Requires understanding. It's not merely making a request. It is saying, what does this fucking mean to you? That's what Pluto's doing. And it's doing it in all of your tangible aspects. All of your tangible aspects. So any physical work, job, people, places, things, that's what's going on right now with Pluto. Sorting all of that. Like, what are you willing to fight for? What are you passionate about? What do you care about? Wherever your energy is, that's what you're going to experience. So if your focus is internal, then you're going to have an internal experience. You'll have external stimulus, yet that internal experience is going to create the next external experience. It's your choice. All right, let's get back. Sorry. I'm not really sorry. I'm probably going to do it again. All right, so goodness. So Neptune and Pluto right now, two water planets. Sorry. I had to clear something, obviously. So two water planets are wreaking havoc in our emotional centers and in our subconscious, deep diving into our belief system, looking for structure with Saturn, and not binding us, but creating a construct that we can live with, right? What do you want to live with? What do you want to live with? What does your conscience tell you that you want to live with? How would you like the world to be? Dream that into existence. Stay focused in that. Okay, I wish you guys lots of love today. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you. Thank you.